Welcome to the nightcap. Hope everybody's doing well. Thought I'd come along here, do a nightcap real quick. Had a good day at the track. Had a meet and greet, fellow YouTuber. Awesome meet and greet today. It was a good meeting up with a gentleman from Australia. We kicked it for 3 or 4 hours today at the horse track. Sucking some suds down. Good conversation. What an awesome day. That was probably actually, not probably, that was my first meet and greet. That I met somebody off YouTube. Owen, top bloke. Good dude. #1 in my book. Hope everybody's doing well. Got the link in the chat. You guys want to come up, hit the link. I'll post the link again. It's open panel. If anybody wants to come up, hit the link. Let's have a conversation. But anyway, good day. They had the Cotton Fitzsimmons mile on turf today. And it was a good race. Good food, good company, good times. If you ever have a chance to meet somebody you met on YouTube and you have a good vibe about that person, they're in the same town, strongly suggest do a meet and greet. Can't hurt nothing. With social media nowadays being all around the world, opens up friendships, relationships, and good times. It was a good day today. Hope everybody's doing well. So what's crack-a-lacking out there in the YouTube streets today? Yo, Mystic Peg. How you doing? Hope you're well. It's a good day hanging out at the horse track with Owen. What's up? What's up, Chris? You want to be called Chris or Barry Allen? I'm kind of confused, but hope it doesn't offend you. Yeah, Owen made me buy most of the beers today, so I mean he covered a few, but I think I covered a little bit more than he did. But no, it was a good day at the track, a good opportunity to meet somebody, and a lot of people there. Started outside, got there a little early. You know, in Arizona, it's really tough to stream out here outside. I should have went straight indoors, but it's a pretty big place, and when you're meeting somebody, you want to be out in the open, in a spot where they could see and they can see you, and it was cool. Yo, Chris.
Hey, what's up, man? So how
Not
much
much,
money did
man.
you make today? How much money did you make today?
I probably broke even after I counted all my receipts and all the beer we drank.
Well, that's good. That's good. As long as you had a good time, really doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, no, it was perfect, Chris. It was good day. Owen's a top bloke, good cat. I mean, it was a good conversation we had today.
Cool. Yeah, he doesn't really say much. He doesn't come on panels much, but he
No,
does
no, 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 no. Well,
from from his interaction in the chats and stuff. He
right.
seems to
Well,
be
when you have an
pretty
opportunity like that
level-headed.
to meet somebody like Owen, it's do it. You know what I'm saying, Chris?
The funny thing is, I think it was him who asked me. I'm not sure. I think it was him. Um, when the rumor was said it, well, not the rumor, when somebody said it was fact that I lived in Texas, he actually asked me where to go in Texas for barbecue. I'm like, dude, I don't live in Texas. I'm just, I'm just going ahead with what they think is the truth. And
Right,
if they
right.
believe that, then I'm there. So, yeah.
I get you. I get you.
So, but I'm
Yeah,
sure you
no,
guys have some good
but
barbecue in Arizona too.
actually, we have some pretty good barbecue. We have Little Miss Barbecue, which is
Okay.
good. And then there's one called Mrs. Damn, probably going to get hated for this, but it's Mrs. It's not Mrs. Smith, but there's a Mrs. something. And this little old lady puts out a barbecue like you wouldn't believe. I mean, Charles Barkley goes there. A lot of heavy hitters in the sports uh, go
Okay.
there. And I ate there one time, and it's I mean, there's a line out the door, but it's worth it. You know, anybody stands in line for good food. You know what I'm saying, Chris?
True. I remember my first time eating barbecue like in the South. So it was in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I visited a friend there, and then he goes, "Oh, you wanna try some barbecue?" And I'm like, "Sure." And we went, like, I don't know, it was like rural, right? And all of a sudden, you see this barn that's like looks halfway dilapidated, like one half of it's dilapidated or whatever. And you pull up, and it's like just like not even a paved parking; it's just like dirt.
Gotcha.
And you pull up, and you get in there, and then you see like the smokers and like the smoke, the blackness going up the wall and stuff. The
Yeah.
smoke where the smoke has been, the heat has been.
Hmm.
Dude, like it looked like they've been cooking in there like that or smoking in there like that for like 50 years or something. Oh man, it was so good. It was so good. I don't even
Right.
remember
Right.
the name, man. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
But the
No.
guys took me
There's
up
a
in
place here
Chattanooga
in
for that.
Phoenix called Durant's, and it's a
Okay.
steakhouse. And it's in Central Phoenix, and they just reopened. They actually made a movie on it, but with Michael Madsen and some other people. But back in the day, this used to be a mob hangout in Phoenix. It was called Durant's. And you remember back in the olden days where sometimes you enter a restaurant and you come through the kitchen and you walk through the kitchen, you come through and you sit down. I don't know if you
Yep.
ever experienced something like that. Well, this place
Yep.
still does. This place still does that,
Okay. Cool.
and everybody's saying hi, waving at you and stuff. And this place still has the old cigar smoke because nowadays you can't really smoke indoors anywhere.
Right.
But they kept all the red velvet, the walls, all the old paintings. Picture an old steakhouse back in the day, where it smelt like fucking cigar smoke and burnt barbecue. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying, Chris? Those are
Yep.
usually the better
100%.
steakhouses. Those are usually the better steakhouses to go to.
Yeah. I, I remember the place doesn't exist anymore. But back when I was like going through the South, also I went Nashville, and then somebody's like, "You gotta go to this place called Rotiers. They have like the best cheeseburger in all of the United States." And yeah, it was a place like that. You went in and it looked like nothing had been moved for the last 30 years, right?
Gotcha.
But like people kept coming in and out, in and out. You could sit down and stuff. And where you sat down, it's like, you think about not even like a classic diner. It's just like a place people came, they had their lunch and left. It's like an old school cafeteria type, you know, furnitures and stuff. But damn, those cheeseburgers are good.
Right, right, right. We have a few
But I
places
think,
like that. Go,
yeah,
go ahead.
no, but I think that place doesn't exist anymore. But it's like, I think I put it in the because somebody was talking about Nashville. I was like, oh shit, Rotiers, and I put it in. I think like the family didn't keep it on or whatever, or the lease of that property because it was like where it was. Like, you're like, wow, this is like a, like a built up area, but it was like still an old house. Like
Right.
sometimes you go through like built up areas and there's like old houses, and you're like, well, okay. So I guess those people who own it don't want to sell. I guess they own that place, and I guess the family, whatever happened, they just didn't keep it up, and they sold the land or whatever. So
Gotcha, gotcha. You know, I miss the old roach coaches.
the what?
The old roach coach trucks. You know,
Oh, you like
the food catering trucks. I mean, I call them roach coaches, but you know what I'm talking about.
okay, yeah,
You know, where I live, those places were regulated. You know, they were still uh, required to have inspections by the health department and stuff like that. You know, and then
right,
Arizona passed a law where you can start cooking food at home and selling it on the street.
right.
You know, and there's some places here in town where basically people start cooking. They open up their backyard and they have it seat like a restaurant.
Yep.
You know, and you know, I mean, some places, you know, if you've been there a lot and you know the people, that's one thing. But not having an inspection, you don't know what the fuck you're eating. You know, I mean, a lot of
Yeah, but I think
things are subjective now. You know, now back then, back in the day, which we're talking about, it was no problem. You knew that the shit was good because if people weren't lined up down the fucking block, you knew it was good.
exactly,
You know,
exactly. It reminds me of a place I used to go to um, when I was younger. It's a Caribbean family, and I don't know if they had a license or like health certificates or whatever. They probably did, but they only sold from their yard on Saturdays, I think Friday afternoons and Saturday all day, and that was it. So we had people come visit, and I used to go there maybe probably at least once a month. And the guy who owned the house, who did everything in his family, you know, whatever. I mean, people would, depending on like how the grill was going and how much he was selling, you'd have to come back, right? Because the
right,
chicken
right, right,
wasn't done yet. So I was like, dude, like I don't mind like waiting and stuff, but can I just call the house and put an order in, and you can tell me like, whatever the time is, you can tell me in 2 hours. I'll come in 2 hours. I'll come on time. Just make sure everything's ready.
right.
I want your food, and I'll just pick it up and go. Anyway, he used to do that, and then we had friends visit, and the guy said, "Oh yeah, I'm hungry." I'm like, "Oh okay." And we were in the area, and I was like, "Oh, let me take you to a special place." It was like Saturday with him. So I pulled up, and he goes, "You didn't call. You didn't call." I was like, "No, no, no, it's okay. It's like my friend from out of town, whatever." How long's the wait? He said half an hour, and I know he didn't have an alcohol license. And my friend's like, "You think he's got beer?" I'm like, "Hey, uh, do you have any, alcoholic stuff that you're not allowed to sell that you might want to get rid of?" And he goes, "Come in the house." So yeah, he gave us cups, like cups you couldn't see, like solo cups with beer. So yeah,
Right.
that was cool. And we
You know,
just waited
too,
there and hung out.
it was real funny. Back in the early 2000s, I was working in Wisconsin. And it's really weird because after 9 o'clock, some places back east, they quit selling alcohol, you know?
Right?
And some places just sell beer, and some other places just sell alcohol. We went to this place. It was about we're working, 5 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. Because back in that day, back in June, July, it doesn't get dark till 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was a rush job working outside. We're working at if you ever go to Wisconsin, there's a place called Cops Cows, and it's in
Okay.
Madison, Wisconsin. And when you pull into the parking lot, they have 20 cows lining their drive-through up. I mean, of course, they're not real. They're uh, ceramic and stucco, but they're life-size fucking versions of the Guernsey milk cow.
Okay.
Okay. And every morning, this place opened at 9 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, the drive-through is already filled up. You know, and we're trying to put these cows back on. What happened was when the original cows got installed there, the guy, the architect, the guy who originally installed them is from my neck of the woods here in the desert Southwest in Arizona. And this gentleman owns a couple restaurants here in Phoenix, and we know him. And what happened was all the steel and the platforms that these big, huge, life-size cows sit on. I mean, they don't weigh as much as a real cow, probably half the size or maybe a third of the size, you know? And so they had to all get redone. Everything's rusting out. And we're trying to work, and the travel channel's there filming it. Because this place is like, it's called Kopp's Cows. Kopps Cows. They have 3 or 4 locations in Wisconsin, and they're known for their custard, and they're known for their hamburgers, kind of like the original smash burger type of deal, you know.
All right.
And we're in there, and I'm counting the cows. They're coming out of the truck. We had the platforms are all ready, and they have these big bolts coming out of their hoofs. So when we mount the cows on the platform, because we had to go in there and replace all stainless steel platforms so they don't rust out anymore and fall down and hurt somebody, because they're elevated. So if they were to fall on you, you know, they're probably 6, 8, 7 foot high, you know, above you. And it's,
Right.
you know, quasi tourist attraction. So we're in there and we're busting our ass, and I look at the cows. Okay, they're white, white, white. I counted 19 white cows and 1 black cow.
Right.
So the architect comes up to me, says, "Where are you going to put him at?" I said, "I don't know. Where you want to put him?" He's like, "Let's put him at the end." I go, "No, no, no. I don't think that's too cool. Let's put him right in the middle." So we're, you know, putting the cows in. We're bolting them down so nobody can steal them, because there's a college right up the road. Wisconsin is right. The college is right up the road. So we're screwing them down, tightening everything down, stripping the nuts, so kind of make it anti-tamper proof, you know, make it more
Yep.
difficult for somebody to take them. Being next to a college town, because you know how college people are when they do their little jokes, you know.
Yeah.
So we get in there, and we mounted the black cow. This brother comes in on a Harley. He comes up to me and goes, "Hey, say brother, why 19 white cows and 1 black cow?" And I looked at the guy. I said, "Hey, don't we all have a black sheep in the family somewhere?" That's
Oh
ex-
man.
that's exactly how he took it, Chris. He fucking laughed, gave me a thumbs up, got in the drive-through, ordered his shit, and told them guys, "Hey, you guys need to hire them guys out there that are putting your cows together to come in and work in this store. I'm tired of this shit." You know,
Well, so long as you have somebody that's the same type of, understands the joke or the sense of humor.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And plus, too, when I was talking to him in my tone, he knew what I was trying to say, because everybody else wanted it last.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm going, "Nah, what's up, Daniel? Big ups. Daniel Barry in the house." You know, to put him in the middle made a statement, you know, and just by his, you know, he pulls up in his hog and says that to me. And I can tell by his tone, you know, and he can tell by my response back that, hey, we're all equal here. That's why I placed him right in the fucking middle. There's nobody ahead of nobody. We're all equals,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And that was, and their food was good. By the way, their food was good. And this guy, by the way, the owner came back and showed me the review that he left, and it was fucking hilarious, dude. It was fucking hilarious. It was made my day. about having us come into work in the hamburger shop versus who he has in there now. That means he was tired
Yeah,
of their fucking shit. Bring in some fresh meat who understand the stuff, you know. And we're right in the middle of Wisconsin, right in Madison. We're right there, you know. We're that TV series, about that '70s show. We were
yeah,
like right in that neighborhood, and in Madison, Wisconsin, one side of the street was good, the other side of the street was supposed to be the good side, you know. But it was, you know, but talking about food, we didn't care. It was good food, you know. It was awesome. But anyway, getting back, you know, I kind of got sidetracked here. But to buy alcohol at places in Wisconsin, you got stores that sell alcohols and stores that sell liquor.
right.
And not 9 o'clock was their shut off rule. And there were some houses in rural Wisconsin that looks like a fucking house, and they still have alcohol and still make you food and stuff. But in a fucking house, you just pull up. There'll be cars parked out front. You just pull in, and it's like walking. You ring the doorbell. They invite you in. You go sit in the kitchen. You order something. You know, you pay them, and then you eat. You know, kind
Yeah,
of like this, what we were talking about. I
yeah.
thought
It
that was
depends on
pretty cool.
how rural things are, and like if you like in a rural area and there's not much around, then yeah, there's opportunity. And I
Right,
guess it's easier to get a license or something like that rather than have somebody build like a restaurant or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Also depends on
right.
like the
No, no,
zones.
no. I get it. But I guess, and I asked somebody when I got back to Phoenix about the deal in Wisconsin and back in the East, and he said, like, you know, Leo, there's still places out there where it's still mom and pop. They open up their homes. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of them make a living that way, and a lot of them, you know, that's just the way how they are.
yeah. I mean, okay. Round here, when I was growing up, they still had that. Like, I'm not gonna get into big detail because it'll give away where I live. But there's like a local dish here, right? That you can get from a lot of places, and it's semi-fast food, right? Well, it is actually fast food. Um, and there's like takeaways that do it, right? So
Right.
sort of like in Louisiana, like where you get like a po' boy or
Hmm.
something, a po' boy or whatever. Like, but you have places that are dedicated to being like a takeaway or even a dine-in restaurant. Some just takeaways. But back when I was still, like, I know I said it's long ago, 23, 24, there were still places in neighborhoods where somebody took like their third bedroom and changed it into like to fry stuff and to make stuff, right? Like make it a kitchen. And
Right.
through the window, like, you could pay money and get stuff out, right? So you pull up in their yard or next to their yard, and then you go and whatever. So yeah, there was a time back then where my my best friend from school and we tried to figure out where you could find the best, who made that dish the best, and where. And then the other thing was at what price. So one of the cheaper places was in like just like a residential community, and he's like, "Oh, you know where you buy your car parts?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah. After you pass there, go left, take the second right, and then it's like the house is on the third corner, and then you'll
Gotcha.
see you'll see the little sign, like wherever they have their house number, you'll see the little sign of the business, and then you just go into the yard and you go into the back corner, and then you'll see where you can order."
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, so yeah, that was actually one of the cheaper places to get that.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, it was still good. I mean, it was, not always if something's cheap doesn't mean that it's inferior.
Right.
It's just because of where it was, they didn't really have overhead, so they could they didn't need to charge as much as maybe somebody who had like a dedicated brick and mortar location. But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. But those places like that it's few and far between nowadays.
Right. I always try and visit the mom and pop places. I mean, like, you know, my background being 30 years in construction, I always knew where the right to go to the right go to the right food truck. I usually try. There's one lady. She used to text me on where her location would be, where she was at. I mean, and for $5, dude, like for breakfast, for the breakfast break in the morning, like, you know, 9 o'clock, for $5, dude, I would get me a breakfast burrito that was probably 3 or 4 inches in diameter by a foot long
Right.
for $5. You know, I always tip her a couple bucks, but the lady must have been, it was an old Hispanic lady. She must have been about, 60, 70 years old, but she would make the best chorizo and egg. Oh my gosh, dude, I would wait, and wherever, I don't care if I was 3 or 4 miles either way of direction, dude. I'd drive to her fucking, lunch wagon to eat off her shit because
Ba-
it was good.
Well, back in the day, like before, like you said, before you had all those stipulations and well, you still had you had to have certain shop licenses and stuff like that, or selling licenses and stuff like that. But they didn't stipulate that you needed to have a truck or whatever. Like we used to